It was a feeling. I knew it was you. Nobody had to tell me. Nobody had to. I knew it was you. And that's when I text you and told you, I believe that is you. I had this sorrow feeling come over me. And I was thinking about little Emmett Till. And you show up. I'm just lamenting. I'm just crying, crying, crying. And I'm asking for a spiritual guide. And you show up.
Hello.
Hello.
Deloria,
Yes.
it's a pleasure to see you again.
Nice to see you.
Today is what? Today is July 15th,
Yes.
2025. So, I wanted to do an interview with you about the experience that you had the first day that you met me. And
Yeah.
I looked on my TikTok, and I want
Yeah.
to go and confirm again the date. Today is July 15th, and so when I look at the date when you and I first communicated, I believe it was May 16th, and it's May 16th at 9 a.m. And the text was, "I believe who you are, and thank you for sharing." So, what I would like to do, well, I would like to start there, but I would also like to ask you questions about your journey.
Okay.
But I would like to start with how we met initially. And so,
Okay.
if you could go into what happened the night before you met me.
Okay. Um, I had this sorrow feeling come over me, and I was thinking about little Emmett Till. And I was apologizing to him that I felt like we failed him, that nobody was there to help him. So I'm crying. I'm bawling my eyes out, and I'm just apologizing to him that the way he died, the way he got killed, and he was alone, and that I couldn't help. And I don't know what come over me that night. I was crying just like it happened. And I was like, I wish it's something that I could have done. I would have died with you. So it was just sorrow, just pure sorrow. And then the next day, when I saw, I don't even know how I came across your page, but I saw you, I said, oh my God, I know that's him. It was a feeling. I knew it was you. Nobody had to tell me, nobody had to, I knew it was you. And that's when I text you and told you, I believe that is you. So here we are today.
You mentioned initially that, am I correct, that the first night that you had that experience where you were looking at the picture and
Yes.
That you also prayed and asked for a friend to speak to about reincarnation? Did that happen the same night?
Yes. Yes.
And the very next day, you and I meet.
Yep. Because I believe.
Interesting.
I believe in reincarnation, but I never had. I asked for a guidance. When the prayer, I said, I would like to have a friend that was spiritual and I could talk to you about reincarnation. Because when you talk to people, they think you're crazy. But I wanted a spiritual friend on my level to, we could talk about reincarnation. We could talk about, how we know we've been here before. Because there's certain things that link us to certain things. I've always loved Egypt and was fascinated with Egypt. But I couldn't tell, how I was linked to it until my daughter said, Mommy, I know you. And I said, of course, honey. I know you know me. I'm your mom. She said, no.
How old was she?
I know you from a past life. At the time, I think she was like 11 years old.
So she said, I know you
when
from a
she told
past
me
life.
that.
I know you from a past
Yeah.
life. And continue.
Yeah. And she said, you were Queen Tiye. And I'm Kia. I said, Queen Tiye and you're Kia? She said, yes. I'm your daughter. And she said, Amenhotep was my father. And I'm like, why is she saying those things? So I really brush it off. It stayed in the back of my mind, but I brushed it off until I met this beautiful Black woman, Afrocentric, had a beautiful big ankh on her neck. And me and my dad was going to a Walmart. And I don't know why I wanted to go to this particular Walmart, but it's far out from where I live. I said, Dad, let's go to the one on 441. He said, okay. So this lady pulled up beside us and she said, can I speak to you? And I'm a little leery of people. I'm a little skeptical of people. So I was like, my dad said, it won't hurt. Listen to what she has to say. And so she looked at me.
Hold on.
She was,
the experience with your daughter was when your daughter was 11. How many years after this is this experience?
I'll say this happened like 2 years down the line.
Okay, so now your father said, go speak to her, and you go speak to her?
Yes. So she pulled me aside. She walked over to her car, and her car is filled with all kinds of Egyptian. I mean, it's filled with Egyptian books on queens and kings and all kinds of things like that. And she's looking at me, and she said, it is so nice to meet you, Queen Tiye. I said, what? So she's talking to me, and it's like my spirit quickened, and the tears are running down my eyes. I don't know why, but the tears are running down. And she is just so happy to see me. She said, I've been looking for you a long time. I said, me? And she said, yes. She said, you're Queen Tiye. Now, I don't know this woman. This woman pulled up beside me and my father. She has all these Egyptian books. It just supernatural to me. It's like, okay, where'd she come from? Did she come from the realm? Because people don't believe in things like this. If I talk to people, they're like, she's crazy. My father was my witness. My dad was my witness. And it was like, she was almost like worshiping me, saying that it was so nice to see me. And she's been looking for me all this time. And she said, oh my God, to be in your presence, Queen Tiye. And I'm like, this lady don't know me. Now it's connecting to what my daughter said, and I'm spooked. But I really got spooked when I'm talking to the child that was murdered, and I'm crying. I'm just lamenting. I'm just crying. And I'm asking for a spiritual guide, and you show up. I said, this is crazy. It's like so many years I've been Emmett Till. And I don't want to sound crazy, but I think I'm supposed to meet you. I think that me being told I was Queen Tiye, because when I saw the Egyptian picture of you, I'm like, wait a minute. There's something interesting about it, but I didn't want to come off as a weirdo, so I was waiting on you to say something.
I meet the intuitive woman Deloria, who's lamenting and crying over Emmett Till. And the very next day she finds me, sees me on TikTok, and knows who I am. Why is this happening? Because the life of King Tut and the life of Emmett Till. These lives are intimately connected. They are the same person, all connected to me, because those were my previous lives.
There's something interesting about it, but I didn't want to come off as a weirdo, so I was waiting on you to say something, because I didn't want to seem weird. Because when you talk about reincarnation, when you talk about the things that mean, people think you're crazy, and it's not the norm, but it is our story. It's what's happening to us, and I can't explain to you why I love Arabic music, Egyptian music. It does something to my soul to hear it. I'm Indian descendant, but I don't have anything to do with India, but I understand the dialect, and I understand things about it. I see visions of me, and I've met people that told me that I was a high courtesan, and I'm like, what? And I know certain things about India that I have interact with Sikhs. People always see me Arab or Indian people, they gravitate to me. They come to me, they give me gifts. They, oh, you're Cleopatra. I'm like, nope, I'm not Cleopatra. But you're on the right. I don't know these people. So why would they say that to me? You know? Even people in TikTok or Facebook, they will say, oh, you have a very mystical look. There's something about you that's mystical. That's all my life. That's all my life. I have spiritual gifts that I was born with. I couldn't explain it to you. But it links into Queen Tiye, Egypt, everything, and I'm like, I don't know where this is going to take me, but I end up speaking with you. So me, the attachment to Emmett Till, the spiritual journey, Queen Tiye, and I'm here speaking to you. So it's like it has to mean something, because you don't know me, and I don't know you. So I want to know more about reincarnation, because I believe. Nobody had to tell me. When I saw the picture and I saw you, I said, oh my God, this is crazy. I knew it was you. You know how people get skeptical? Oh, no. I knew it was you. To tell you the truth, when the woman spoke to me about me being Queen Tiye, I believe. I didn't so much believe my daughter. I thought, she's a kid and, maybe she doesn't know what she's talking about. Later on, I found out my daughter's very spiritual. She's very spiritual.
How old
and
is
she
she
did
now?
know what she was talking about. Oh, God, she's maybe in her early, I'm not, 29.
Okay.
30, yeah.
So my understanding is that Kia is supposedly the mother of Tutankhaten, of King Tut. But some of these things can't be fully confirmed. They say that the story of the 18th dynasty is very fractured. It's very fractured, and a lot of the biblical Abrahamic religion, Moses, and all of that stuff is put on top of that time period. They created that story and they put it on top, and they took notable people from that time period, and they refashioned them as characters in the Bible. Let me ask you this. Do you know, have you read anything about the relationship between Queen Tiye and Nefertiti in the past?
I was told that they did not get along.
Okay, that's why I asked you that. And so
Tiye, it's very, they tried to erase Tiye and Amenhotep. They were poisoned. And the only information I have about me is that I was buried like a pharaoh.
Interesting.
Any information you want, it's like Tiye was erased. She was erased.
Yeah, the 18th dynasty, because they were creating the Bible, they had to erase the actual story that they were creating it from. This is why Amenhotep's city was completely destroyed. This is why he was etched off the wall, the list of Nesutbidis, of pharaohs, the timeline. His name was etched out. Tutankhaten, King Tut's name was etched out. So he was essentially forgotten about. That's why when they were tomb robbing, searching for tombs, that tomb just went unsearched and forgotten. And so with that, a lot of the people that are around that story were also erased. When's your birthday, if you don't mind me asking?
May the 5th.
May 5th. Do you mind me asking the year you were born? Or is that secret?
1980.
1980.
No, 1980.
The nature of how I met you was interesting because of what you said. You first saw a documentary in 2005 or 2008, correct? Which one was it?
Yes, correct.
2008?
It was 2000, I think 2005.
So you saw a documentary about Enum Tale in 2005. You were 25 years old at the time.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute. You're born in 1980, 90. 25 years after you were born, you watched the documentary, your video went off. This is interesting because I just watch this. This is interesting. You were born in 1980. 25 years after 1980 is 2005. You watched a documentary about Emmett Till. Emmett Till is murdered in 1955. What's 25 years after 1955?
Oh my God.
1980. So now, the interesting thing about that is that, so you watch this documentary on Emmett Till. Now, mind you, everything in my book about my past life that ties me to my life as Emmett Till is governed by math, just like what I just realized for the first time right now. Like, I never knew you were born in 1980. I didn't know what year you were born. I do remember you telling me that you were born May 5th. And I was like, 5 times 5 is 25. I remember that part, but I didn't know what year you were born. Okay, so you're born in 1980, 25. So at 25, you watch a documentary of Emmett Till. Emmett Till was born on the 25th. I was born on the 25th, right? You watch this documentary, and ever since then, you were imbued with sorrow for Emmett Till. And then 20 years later, in 2025, which is the year of the snake, I'm born in the year of the snake. Emmett Till is born in the year of the snake. It is currently the year of the snake, right? 2025. 2025. 25 years after Emmett Till is murdered, you're born, right?
Yes.
25 years after you're born, when you're 25, you watch a documentary of Emmett Till. And in 2025, you get into a spell of sorrow for Emmett Till.
Yes.
And the very next day, you see me, and you already know who I am.
Yep.
So now, that's how I meet you. Now, the math that I just did, I just realized just now. 1980, May 5th. All right, so what age did you come into this affinity for Egypt?
5.
Interesting, 1985. That's the year that Back to the Future came out. That's a whole nother story. But
I was 5.
5 years old.
My mom would say, "Why do you put those sheets on your head like that? Why do you And what kind of music is that? It was like Egyptian music that I love to dance to, and I love to dance. And she said, who teach you how to do things like that? She said, who teach you how to belly? What is that? What's that belly dance? What's that thing around? I would put chains around my stomach. And I always loved these kind of earrings. And, I always love it as a child. And my mom said, you're such a strange little girl. She will always say that. And she's like, why do you do that? Why do you have those bells? I am in love with anklets with bells on them that make noise. Ching, 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 ching. And I met an Indian woman. She's gone now, but I feel that she was my grandmother in a past life. We hit it off at the Marriott Ocean Point, and there was something about her that I knew her, and then I didn't know how I knew her, and she used to tell me that too. She used to say, Silver, I know you. I said, I feel like that too. And it's weird how she was closer to me than my mom. Like if I'm working, she would be off. She would come and bring me food and money. And I'm like, why would she do that? Why would she do that? Well, anyway, we built a relationship and we got very, very close. And I felt like I had to know her. We had to come together. She died of a horrible death. But she left Florida without me knowing, because I was going to take her in. This is an interesting story. I was going to take her in because she was old. She can't see. She had diabetes. And I told her, I'm going to arrange to take her. Somehow she got with these bad people pretending to love the elderly and take care of the elderly. They took her to New Orleans. They beat her to death. She ended up on life support. But before she died, she was able to contact me. And the things that she said to me, she said, it was a pleasure meeting you again. And I'm like, what is she talking about? She said, I wish you would have come for me. And I said, I don't know nothing about New Orleans. And I don't know why you left, because I was going to take you in. That's the last time I hear from her. I got a call from Facebook. And it was this hospital. How they found me, I have no clue. But I believe something divine let them find me and contact me. And they said, do you know Irma Krishnan? I just started crying. Before they could say anything, I started crying. And they said, she is on life support. And you are down here noted as her goddaughter. And you are in control. She wants you to be in control. But she had family in India. So I was lucky enough to find her family in India and let them know, because I didn't want to be the one to pull the plug and do that. So her family made that decision. But I had a journey with her that I knew she just felt like a grandmother. And we were so close, you couldn't tell she was not my family. And I believe, and she also believed in reincarnation. And she said, I know you. And I said, you feel like family. You feel like blood to me. And I had a beautiful relationship with her in the beginning. I just didn't like how she died. It was terrible. She was beaten to death by these people that's supposed to take care of the elderly. I mean, it was really bad. And she kept saying that she was cursed from in this life. She came back. She said something about she was cursed. Nothing ever went right for her in this life. So I try to connect to her in the spirit. I try to talk to her. Nothing. I can't get anything.
Just speak to that.
Nothing at all.
Are you often able to connect to people in the spirit?
Yeah.
Who have you connected to other than Emmett Till?
Well, like my mom, my grandmother, my friend Danielle, that was murdered. So her and her husband was killed when we were 16 years old.
So do me this favor. So tell me. So her and her husband were murdered. Tell me the experience of your communicating with her when she passed. Tell me how that went about.
Oh God. Well, before she got killed, I saw it.
How did you see it?
We were in school. We were going to school, and we were sitting on the grass. And her boyfriend is African American, and he keeps speaking something that was disturbing my spirit. He kept saying, "Me and Danielle is gonna die together." I said, "Yes, that's true." So Danielle said, "What are you saying?" I said, "I actually saw it in a dream." She said, "What did you see?" I said, "I saw an accident, and he died with you."
When was the dream? When was the dream? Was it like the night prior?
The dream was, no, the dream was like, oh my God, the dream was like a year.
A year prior to that to the day where he said we're going to die in a car accident?
Yeah. He said, no, he didn't say we was going to die in an accident.
He said we're going to die together.
Yes.
Wow.
And I said, yep, because I saw it. And Danielle said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, I dreamed this, and I saw a car accident, and I saw you die with him." She said, "Oh my God." She said, "Are you serious?" I said, "Yeah." But they didn't pay me any attention. And they died.
How far after that day?
They died after graduation.
So
we were 16 years old when I saw.
So they die months later or a year later?
They died years later.
So basically, you had a dream, and a year later you were with them, and the boyfriend says, "We're gonna die together," and you tell them that you had this dream, and then years later they die in a car accident. In a car. All right, now, how did you communicate with her after the death?
Her mom. I told her mom I saw Danny. She said, "What do you mean you saw Danny?" I said, "I saw Danny holding a baby." The mother freaked out. You see, because I didn't know Danielle was pregnant. I didn't know. And the mother started freaking out. And she said, "Can you come and see me?" And I said, "Yeah, I can come and see you." She said, "I don't want to talk over the phone. I want to see you in person." So when I went there was a baby there. Whew. She said, "Is this the baby you saw?" I said, "Yes."
The baby survived the accident?
She said, "The baby survived."
Wow.
But I didn't know she had a baby. But when I saw her in the room, she was holding that baby. It had red hair, just like Danielle. and I'm her godmother.
Wow. Very
I saw
interesting.
I saw my mother's death 3 years before it happened.
Tell me about that.
Um, I have a very not a good relationship with my older brother. He always caused problems in the family. I would say that he has like curses on him. Because every time he comes back, my grandmother passed away very strangely when he came back. And she just died. And I'm like, something's not right about it. I kept it to myself. So he's my mother's favorite. So I had a bad dream about him too. It had something to do with drugs. It had something to do with addiction. And I warned her. I said, Mom, Tommy is coming back. She said, oh, what are you talking about? I said, Tommy is coming back. And if you let Tommy back in the house, you're going to die a tragic death. She said, he's not coming back here. What are you talking about? 3 years later, he came. And my mom died a tragic death. I warned her. She died in a horrible way. And I told her, but she didn't listen to me. So I don't know what kind of gift I have, but it can see things ahead of time, because whenever I see my boss want to come at me and want to write me up, I actually see it the day before. I would have the dream that night when I go into work. She would have the paperwork to write me up, but she don't like me. And in the spirit realm, I have a spirit guide that tells me about this woman, and it's deep.
I write about stuff like this in my book. My book, TutemRa, The Prophecy of Reincarnation. Star codes of immortality. See? Star codes. We have these.
Yeah.
It's not everyone.
Right.
I was saying that my father dreams things. Sometimes is foreboding things, death in the family before they happen. My sister dreamt a car accident that I had 7 days before it happened. That's why I was asking you the time in which the accident happened, because it's.
Wow.
I've dreamt things. I remember I dreamt something on October 16th of 2015, and then January 1st of the next year it manifested. So our soul, what we're talking about is souls coming back and incarnating into another body, living another life. That same soul that comes back and lives another life, it's not bound to the physical body. So what we call a dream, what we call meditation, astral projection, this is our soul consciousness going to a potential future. It doesn't always happen exactly the way we might see it. And everything that we see is not necessarily something that's going to happen. But we travel to the future and we see things before they happen. And I think that, I don't think that everyone experiences this though. Not everyone experiences. Right. That's why people have a hard time believing these things when they hear people like you or me talk about them, because they don't have a frame of reference. They've never experienced it. And so I think though that these are part of psychic gifts and abilities that we carry over from life to life, right?
Yes.
And so so I just wanted to ask you about that, because just so people who might watch this, who will listen to it, so they can get more clarity in terms of when things are happening, when you're dreaming something, when it's manifesting. Like for me, I mean, you can dream something today. You can see, like you said, you saw it before it happened. You can literally see something before it happens 2 seconds later. That's how, what I mean? Or it can be like you, years later. My sister was 7 days later. Mine was 4 days. I kind of giggled a little bit, because when I said I write about stuff in my book, I wrote about, she's like a friend of mine, but I used to work at her spa doing massage, and I write about something that happened. I wrote about a dream that I had, and the very next day I went to work, and what I had happen at work, what I had what
Yeah,
I had happen in the dream happened at work. Two things it happened.
yeah,
So what you're saying, it just made me smile because these
yeah.
things,
Because it's real.
it's real.
Because my boss, she don't like me,
Mm-hmm.
but I have a very powerful intuition, and a spirit guide always tell me what she's gonna do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I even laugh when she called me in the room to write me up. I said, I saw this already. She said, what? She said, what did you say? I said, I saw this already. I saw you write me up last night. And she said, what are you talking about? I spooked her so bad, she didn't write me up when I told her that. She said, what are you talking about? I said, you see how I'm not going to look at the paper. You're going to turn the paper over, and all this highlight is on this paper. She said, yeah. And she got spooked. She said, well, I'll just give you a warning. But she got scared. She's a little leery of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she told all the co-workers, because it's this other lady there. She swears, she said, you have one powerful gift. Because she said, I said, she didn't even turn the paper. I told her to flip that paper over. I didn't want to see it. It got all this yellow, but I saw it. I always know I always know when she's going to ask me. This is funny because me and my dad was talking this morning. She asked me to change my day. I hear a voice last week said she wants to change your days off, Tuesdays, and change it to Friday. Do you know she asked me that yesterday?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a powerful gift.
But I heard it like months ago. Like, this is chilling. My father, we're tight, we're close. And he woke me up 6 o'clock this morning. He said, I need to talk to you. I said, oh boy, you had a vision. He said, yes.
Mm-hmm.
When my dad was telling me the vision, I hear voices. Spirit speaks to me all the time. I could hear people talk about me. I could hear, or it'll warn me about something to tell somebody. Like I would be sitting here, and I have a friend, and he's just unruly. He's so unruly. And I would hear the spirit say, tell him to go a different way home. Don't go the way that he normally goes, and don't speed. And don't speed. So he listened this time. Usually he don't listen. But one prior time, this is funny, I knew he got a ticket, and he never told me. It was so cute. And I got in the car with him, and he said, Silver, I got pulled over by the police. I said, I know. Spirit told me already that you got pulled over by the police. And I remember one time, I have a friend, Kathy, she was like, I called her and told her something about her son. I said, you need to tell your son to tone it down. Those people want to fire him. She told him, but he didn't tone it down, and they fired him. So I'm happy that I have this gift, but like you said, I believe it crossed over with me, because I have dreamed that I was a big medium, that people could come and see me, and I would tell them things. I saw this in a dream, but I don't look like this. I look different, but I know it's me. And I could read palms in this vision. I I can't read palms on this life, but I sure can read you. I can read people. I know whether it's supernatural. I know a witch anywhere.
I have a question.
I know it. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
Why did we meet?
I think we need closure. I think that the spirits arrange us to meet one another to close out something. I believe that our meeting is to solve something. It's not an accident. I don't believe in that. So me having this attachment and this passion for this little boy that was murdered, not even in my time, a lot of people feel for him, but mine is different. I feel connected. The reason is why. Why do I feel connected? What is the connection? So, to me, they say people come into your life for a reason, a season, or to stay. They say that. I feel that we are on something that could be something big, because I knew that was you.
The way that you and I met, I just did the interview with the psychic that I met on March 15th. I sent it to you. I don't know if you watched it yet. Did you watch any of it?
No, not yet, but I will.
That it was like a circle around you. And then it got really big. And then that's where I was able to see inside. What was around you was more than just one Egyptian god that you mostly connect with. It felt like it was a lot of different ones. And then I saw the sand, the pyramids, and then it was like some of the hieroglyphs, like the images were moving. Like what's behind you. Some of them were like moving and they were alive, and the shapes of the people moving and alive.
So this woman, listening to you, we've spoke a couple of times before, and one thing that I know is there are people out here who have psychic gifts and abilities. I've run across a lot of people like this throughout my life, especially when I went to school for massage therapy. Because of the nature of that practice or that art, you meet healers, and these healers, a lot of healers, they have these intuitive gifts. Some people can see the energy lines in the body. And for the most part, the massage is populated by females. It's mostly female. And so, churches and mosques, they're full of females. So females are naturally inclined to be healers. Us men, we're healers too, but, so the feminine ones are tapped into their psychic gifts and abilities, more so at a higher rate, I would say, than us men. Us men, we're dealing with war and logic and math. Female is dealing with intuitive, unseen, spiritual stuff, supernatural, which is hence the word women's intuition. So everything that you're talking about that falls into the lines of dreaming things before they happen, hearing people talk to you. The interesting thing is that inside of my book, it's a journey of how these things began to awaken inside of me, where I began to hear a voice tell me to cross the street, hear a voice tell me, walk away, you're going to meet a woman, and having the wherewithal to listen to it, to not be spooked, to follow the yellow brick road. So I'm saying
because
those things.
A voice told me my mother was going to die around my birthday. My mother died a day before my birthday.
Wow. May 4th.
I heard it. Yeah. So I told everybody, I told everyone, and mm, my daughter didn't take it well, and she died May 4th.
Interesting.
And there's a reason why. She did that on purpose. I know my mom. She was very powerful. And she did that on purpose, I'm telling you. And my mom died with her arms crossed, her chest. Yes.
Interesting. I was leading to, even though I've had these experiences, I'm leery. I'm leery. Prior to me realizing my first past life, I'd only met one person in life who had ever told me that they were into past life regression, and I write about her in my book, and this was at massage school. And it was very interesting, the meeting of her, because she would tell me she was into past life regression and that she felt like she was a witch. That same day I went to a bookstore, and I could swear the book was right around here. This book, Great American Trials. I walked into this bookstore. And that was the first book that I laid my eyes on. And I like the same way with books. And this is a sidebar. For those who might buy my book, TutemRa, The Prophecy of Reincarnation, when you receive the book, what I would like you to do is to, once you receive the book, randomly open it to a page and start there. A lot of the things in my books, once I write about experiences in my life, I go to the significances, and I'll tie you to different points in my book. So I do that with books. I've had divine experiences with books like that, from the Bible to the Quran to any type of regular esoteric book. So what I began to do with this bookstore is I would go to the bookstore and I would look on a bookshelf to see what book would catch my eye first. Now, I did this the same day that I was talking to this woman in massage school. We were in myology class, a class that studies the muscles in the body. And in that class that day, she told me she was into past life regression. She felt like she was a witch. I went to the bookstore. I looked at a book. It was the book that I just showed you. I went to it. I opened it up to page 18, and it said Salem Witch Trials. I took a picture and I sent it to the girl, and she was spooked. It was confirmation. So I say all that to say that was the first person to ever tell me, and this must have been 2014 or 2015. This is the first person to ever tell me that they were into past life regression. I had not been into past life regression or reincarnation, past lives, or anything. I understood it and come across documentaries, but I was never looking into past lives. So I didn't really come across people telling me that they were Nefertiti, Queen Tiye, King Tiye, Jesus. I'd never met people like this. When my past life years later in 2018, my past life of Emmett Till came, I began to speak that immediately. I never met it, and speaking that for years. I've been saying this for 7 years. You don't meet people who think they're Emmett Till in the past life. But in 2020,
Amen.
once my past life as Tutankhaten came, once this past life came, Deloria, you would not believe how many people. I've met around 30 men who think that they're King Tut. I've met around 10 to 15 females who think that they're Nefertiti, and around 10 females who think that they're Queen Tiye. So when I met you, based on you lamenting and crying about Emmett Till, and the next day you meet me, that rung a bell. But when you said that you felt like you were Queen Tiye, I definitely was suspicious. I was like, I wonder. Because I've met so many people who claim to be Queen Tiye. I've met very many people who think that they're Hatshepsut, that they're Ramesses, that they're Thutmose, so, but one thing I don't do, well, when it comes to people who think that they're King Tut, I always have a bone to pick with them.
Yeah.
I always have a bone to pick with them because I'm like, tell me your story, buddy. In the beginning, I was very confrontational with these because I'm a human being going through this experience, and I know that I know that I know. And I
Yeah.
know that I know that I know so much that I can fill pages of a book, and I can continue. I could add more pages to this, to my story now. You know,
Yeah.
so, but I'll tell you, after listening to you, I find that there's a lot to your story that I think is profound. I'll say this though, I can never confirm another person's past life because they are. This is a sensitive thing, right? To kind of
Yeah.
confirm, to say who, what, but I'll say that your story is very, very interesting. This is what I think about a lot of the young men who think that they're Tutankhaten. I think that, or in general, who are drawn to Kemet. I think that some of these young boys, because most of them are young guys, and here's an interesting, the last guy, he found me on TikTok too, and he thought he was Tutankhaten. You know the interesting thing? He is 25 years old right now. When he was 19, during COVID, or right before COVID, he was in
Uh-huh.
jail during COVID. Right before COVID, when he was 19, this dude went to prison. And in prison, he got the story of Emmett Till for the first time. And it took him. He was angry about it. And then later in 2020, the dude started being drawn to Egypt. And he has a picture, listen to this, he has a picture of his grandmother. And his grandmother looks a little bit like Queen Tiye. So
Really?
because of that, and his affinity, he still thinks, well, he did like what most of the men do. Like after they meet me, they'll consume
Yeah.
my story and then they'll delete their story. Most of them pull their pictures or their story off of social networking after they've come across mine. You know,
Right.
in the beginning, I was confrontational with them as I began to understand what is happening. There is something happening. There is an awakening happening. We're being drawn
Yeah.
back to who and what we are. We're being drawn back to who and what we are. You own a car right now?
No.
You've owned a car before, though, right?
Yes.
When you've owned a car, you have noticed every other car like yours, haven't you? Once you own a car,
Yeah.
right? Here's the
Uh-huh.
thing. Here's the thing about a story like mine, or stories like mine and different. When you begin to, or not even just my story, when people begin to listen to you tell your story, they can then
Yeah.
begin, because what happens a lot of times, people don't have a frame of reference. But when they get a
Right.
certain pattern of events that happen in people's lives, then they can say, oh, the same thing happened to me. And then they
Right.
can begin to follow the yellow brick road in their own lives. I was saying all that to say that I think that I think your story is the most interesting one that I've ever met of a person who is drawn to Queen Tiye.
Thank
After
you.
speaking to you, I am going to research more Queen
Thank you.
Kaya.
And let me know.
Yeah, and
Let me know.
I don't, because it's interesting because I went to New York for the International African Arts Festival this year, and my Metonetta hieroglyphics teacher Basui informed me that he has a new study class that I'll be attending again on Wednesdays tomorrow. So I'll be again learning more of the language. Once you can then learn more of the language, because our problem is that we're taking the information from a third party source. Other people who have
Yes.
deciphered the meanings of stuff. We have to really go down the rabbit hole of trying to learn what's on the wall. Trying to learn what's on the wall. And can we speak all these words? Can I say everything on here? No. Yeah. Can we read this sentence and kind of understand what it means? Can we look at this and try to figure out why he has a lotus flower to his face? What's the symbology of a lotus flower to his face? The lotus flower is the flower of rebirth, right?
Yeah.
So to understand our stories, then when we can go to the on-site observation, go to the temples, we can actually look there and try to read and understand what is happening. You know, so a lot of times we're getting the story mixed. So in closing out, I will say that today is July 15th. It was a pleasure. Deloria Silva Gunter, it was a pleasure to interview you, to get your story. I want to do things like this because it's one thing for me to tell my story. It is another thing for me to be able to capture in time other people's experience when they cross my path. I can say it, I can write a book, I can make a claim, but sometimes that's just your own personal experience. I can tell you what I'm experiencing, but it's different when I can then present someone else who has experienced something and it can help confirm what it is that I'm bringing forth. This is important because we all must know that we've been here before. We must know that we have been here before and we're here on a divine mission. Our divine mission is to be ye like Christ, the Karast, the Pharaoh from ancient times. And how do we do that? We raise our consciousness up. We raise our consciousness, the seals, the 7 seals, the 7 chakras. We raise up the chakras and we become a spiritual butterfly, right? And we attract those. We master and command our ship, and we live a divine life. How are you doing today? I'm excellent. Despite what's happening to you, the universe is not happening to you, it's happening for you. So you are excellent. You're going to make it through whatever trials you have, and we're going to continue our divine journey here. Despite all the wars and rumors of wars that are on TV, that they show us, that they promote to us, we're here for a purpose, to transform. And we can't just look at each other and say, what up, king? What's up, queen? We have to embody the king and the queen from ancient past by living a divine life. So I appreciate you as a divine sister who lives a divine life. I appreciate you for coming here and telling and having the courage to tell your story to a world that most people won't even get it. But there are those who get it. There's people like you, people like me, and people who are willing to listen. So with that said, do you have anything else to say before we close out?
No, it's been a pleasure. I enjoy today, and I hope that others can watch and learn and be inspired.
Do a nature. Likewise. Bye-bye.
Bye, hon.